Hey everyone, welcome back to another PNSO review. Today we're taking a look at Dayong The Yangchuanosaurus. This is quite the special release from PNSO after a couple years of us complaining that, their models are fantastic. Other than the fact that they lack lips, this Yangchuanosaurus is the first figure in a very, very long time for them to actually feature lips. Their first Yangchuanosaurus actually had lips, so it's kind of weird that this all came full circle. Now I end up ordering mine from PNSO's AliExpress store. The figure retails for just over $30. I'll leave a link down below in the description if you want to order one for yourself. Now let's just go over the packaging really quick before we take a closer look at Mr. Yangchuan. It is part of the PNSO Animal Models line. It is number 77. We have a beautiful picture of Dayong on the front of the box. We have another close-up of the head with those beautiful lips on the top of the packaging. And just like most PNSO figures, you do get an informational pamphlet about Yangchuanosaurus. Let's get the camera to focus in on that. We get a couple pictures of the actual model itself, some close-ups, blah, blah, blibbity blue, and how to draw Yangchuanosaurus. There's a skull right here. Really not much to talk about when it comes to the pamphlet, and just like most figures, you also do get a nice poster as I unfold it off camera. And, the last few releases have just featured the artwork of just like a photoshopped of the actual figure. This one actually features original artwork, and here is the Yangchuanosaurus, all spiky and awesome bro looking. So the posters are completely useless to me. So enough about the packaging. Let's take a closer look at this figure. And here is Dayong. The packaging, a really, really nice looking figure. PNSO makes good quality figures. Do I feel like they're overpriced at sometimes? Yes, I definitely do. Still never forgive them for this Intaosaurus being $60 and their Nanotyrannus being around $40. But yeah, I really like how this Yangchuanosaurus turned out. It's a much better improvement over their original release. Now, this figure may seem kind of small to some of you, but there is very good reason for that. But we'll cover that a little bit later on in the review. But the main highlight of this figure is it's the first PNSO figure in a very long time to actually feature lips. For a very long time, they stuck to the lipless look with their theropods, and at the time these figures were being developed, the signs kind of pointed that possibly theropods did have the lipless look, but more debate in the paleontology community and more evidence suggests that dinosaurs did have lips. And I have a theory why PNSO released so many lip theropods. I think they had a lot of these in the pipeline, and as the shift went more towards the lip look, I feel like they fast-tracked these figures to get them out as fast as possible so they can finally go back to the lip look. And that's why I feel like we've gotten like 15 theropods in a row from them. But all in all, this Yangchuanosaurus is an absolutely beautiful looking figure. Yeah, none of the color schemes on the PNSO figures, other than like Meraxis and the what's it called? I forgot the name of it because it's football Sunday. I'm doing these reviews, so I'm a little right now from those high lifes. It features a nice natural color scheme. It's really nothing super vivid and eye popping, but it features a nice orange-ish brown main coloration with these nice dark stripes. And PNSO is really pretty much the master of those very natural paint schemes, nothing too wild or vivid. But yeah, really nice figure all around. I like how it turned out, and that lip look is such a welcome sight on these PNSO figures. And now time for some measurements. This figure is 9 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or 22.8 centimeters, and about 2.5 inches tall to the top of the head, or 6.3 centimeters. So the type specimen of Yangchuanosaurus, that is CV00215, is estimated around 26 feet long, or 8 meters. So I'll put this figure nicely in the 135 scale range. Now, the old PNSO Yangchuanosaurus is quite the larger figure. Let's just get everything to line up in shot right here. That figure is around 11 inches long, and the specimen CV00216 is estimated around 30 feet long, or 10.8 meters. So I'll put this around the 138 scale range. So it's kind of cool. You have these two Yangchuanosaurus figures, and they kind of match up in the size of the two specimens, but this one's pretty much based off a presumed juvenile specimen Yangchuanosaurus. Do I wish it was bigger? Yes, but I do have a soft spot for figures that are actually based off actual specimens, so this figure is okay in my book. And just like most theropod figures in PNSO, you do get this clear acrylic display base that can just position right underneath the chest. Always highly recommend using these because these figures definitely do warp over time, especially if your room gets warm. Trust me, I found out the hard way this summer after I moved. And now let's zoom and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure. Let's get the main highlight of this figure out of the way. It's been a few years since we've seen a lip theropod from PNSO, so let's close the mouth and take a look at all that beautiful lipped goodness. I think they did a really good job with it. Zooming in, you can see a little bit of a gap right there. You can see the teeth just a little bit. It is a very small figure. The head is actually quite tiny, but the engineering and going involved to get this perfectly flush. It's pretty hard to pull off. I mean, look at Holland Good. Their first two theropod releases, Allosaurus and Carnotaurus, they couldn't pull off the lip look. It was just too hard for the tooling on the mold, and that's the reason why they went the lipless look with their figures. But PNSO pulled it off. I think they did a very, very good job on it. And there's a little bit of a gap. Like I said, the engineer that went involved in this is really well done. So let's take a little closer look at the head. It still has those large, pressure sensitive crocodile scoots on the front of the snout. The eyes are painted yellow with a black pupil. And open the mouth up, you get a really wide mouth in this figure. You get that nicely painted teeth right here. The underside of the upper jaw is nicely detailed. You got those nasal patches sculpting right here. PNSO is really well at giving their theropods fantastic mouth detail. You got the tongue painted in. You got a nice gloss coat to give it that wet look. The whole head and body is just done in this orangish brown coloration with all these dark markings. Very natural color scheme, nothing too vivid and striking. Looking at the top of the head, a nice, very thick, powerful looking neck. On the other side, you have this nice white coat for the underbelly, and then going down to the body of these very powerful, muscular looking forearms. Yangchuanosaurus is a type of Metriacanthosaur, and this is a pretty typical body plan for those species of dinosaurs. The hand claws are painted in with black on those very large, powerful looking claws, and then going down to the body of nice proportionate scales all over the place, and some osteoderms peppered throughout. You have a row of spikes along the top of the neck and back to go all the way down to the very tip of the tail. My camera absolutely hates this figure. It's such a hard time focusing in on it. And then going down to the hind legs, very muscular, powerful looking hind legs. You got some nice sculpted on the feet. Toe claws, again, are painted black, just like the hand claws. And on the underside, you have some nice details on the feet. And then going to the cloaca right here. Do we have a cloaca slit? Very, very tiny butthole in this figure. It's barely noticeable. It's right along the seam of the body. And then going down to the tail, we do have a nice thick tail base and this nice white coloration mixing in with that orange and black all the way down to the tip of the tail. So yeah, all in all, even though it's a small figure, I think they did a really, really nice job. And it's a nice, natural looking figure. And Yangchuanosaurus, I think, is a pretty cool looking dinosaur, in my own opinion. Moving on with comparisons, here it is with Collecti's 1/40 scale human figure. And next up here is a very close relative of Yangchuanosaurus. Let's get it to balance correctly. Here it is with their Sinraptor. Like I said, these two are very closely related, but the Sinraptor sports that lipless look. Is probably one of the biggest offenders of the lipless look. Like, the teeth look like they're actually hanging out of the socket, and that's why I just like the lip look. It just looks much more natural. PNSO actually got better with the lipless look with some of their later theropods like Daspletosaurus and Gorgosaurus. They made the teeth much more proportioned. They didn't look like they were about to fall out of the sockets, but yeah, you can clearly see the night and day difference between these two figures. And let's compare to some of PNSO's recently released theropods. Here it is with their Albertosaurus. See what I'm talking about, that the teeth look much more proportionate with these later releases, even though they went with the lipless look. Still looks weird to me. Much prefer the lip look. And here it is with their stellar Gorgosaurus. And of course, every theropod needs to be compared next to Tyrannosaurus Rex. Here it is with the Wilson 2.0. I was really, really close to picking up Cameron up until a couple weeks ago before this figure was announced, and now that the Yangchuanosaurus is out and it has lips, I know it's just a matter of time before PNSO does another version of T-Rex with lips, because Rex sells. So yeah, I was so close to getting Cameron, and now it's not going to happen because of this little Yangchuanosaurus right here. And lastly, here's a group shot of the upper Shaximo formation. That's the formation that Yangchuanosaurus is known for. We have PNSO's Tojangosaurus and Chungkingosaurus. The Chungkingosaurus actually came with the first release of PNSO's Yangchuanosaurus. In the back right here, we have Collecte's Memenchisaurus and Gigantspinosaurus. So they all look really, really nice next to each other. I hope PNSO redoes their Tojangosaurus. It makes it really like an actual 135 scale figure. The Memenchisaurus back here, if it's based off, if you base off Memenchisaurus shangyouensis, is around that 145-ish scale range. So it actually does kind of work with PNSO's Yangchuanosaurus figure. It's a lot of long names in this review. So let's pull the camera back really quick so you can see Mr. Memenchisaurus way, way up there, and let's just swap it out really quick. And here it is with PNSO's take on Memenchisaurus. Just really cool that we have some a handful of dinosaurs from this formation. If you throw some of the Mattel stuff in here, you have much more dinosaurs like Gastosaurus and a few others. And lastly, if you have the old PNSO 2-pack with Yangchuanosaurus and Chungkingosaurus, you do get this beautiful base and with a little bit of finagling. The base is quite rocky and bumpy. You can actually pose these two figures together, and I think that just makes an excellent diorama display. So final thoughts on PNSO's Yangchuanosaurus. It's so great to see lips on that theropods again after all these years. I think it's a beautiful looking figure. It's well sculpted. It's beautifully detailed. It has a nice natural paint job to it, and just that lip look just looks absolutely fantastic. And let's keep it on the base here. So yeah, definitely highly recommend this figure, and we'll see in the near future if the lip trend is going to continue. Like I said, my theory earlier, I feel like they pushed out all these lipless theropods because everyone wanted lipped theropods. I think they just pushed everything out to get them out of their inventory, and now this is what the focus is going to be. Would love to see some herbivores from them, so hopefully they have some prizes coming up for us after this Yangchuanosaurus. Surprisingly, usually when PNSO's release schedule, I have a figure in hand, they already announced the next one. They haven't announced anything yet at the time of this review, so hopefully there's a couple surprises around the corner. And like I said at the beginning of the review, I got this from PNSO's AliExpress store. The link to order from them is down below in the description. If you just want to be patient and wait a few more weeks, it should be available on Amazon Prime without the shipping fees. So that will do it for the review. I have Holland Goods Daspletosaurus. They should be here tomorrow. I have one more Transformer Jurassic Park thing I have to get to, and I should be pretty much caught up with everything that I fell behind the last couple months. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys for the next one.